Okay, hello everyone, welcome to KodeeXp Conversation. I'm here with Nero.
Hi everyone,
And
I'm Inikpi and Nero, and glad to be here with KodeeXp, and we should be doing some more explorations on travel and culture.
yeah, excited to get into the conversations, especially because like the first one was so fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like we covered so much.
Yeah.
And this time I'm just excited to see what the conversation is going to take us.
Yeah.
So let's talk.
So I knew the last one, we stopped at the very end around the cost to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe something I think maybe could help in this episode is maybe on our experiences on that cost and maybe tips on how we can save money traveling to Africa.
I think that everybody wants to save money, so that's a good conversation to have.
Yes. Okay, so maybe I'll ask you first, and maybe I'll share my own story. What is the latest trip you did to Africa or to Nigeria or to, for Detty December? And what did you learn about the cost? Was the cost higher or lower? What was your story? What was the story? What was it about the cost? And maybe off the back of that, like what will you do differently next time?
As they asked me that question, I was like, I wish I had a story where I thought something would be a certain cost and it ended up being cheaper. God, I wish. But yeah, no, that's a fantastic question. I think one of the stories that comes to mind is like my last Detty December trip to Lagos, and
I'm sorry, just out of curiosity, what is Detty December?
So I don't even know how it became a term, but we just used to say, "Are you gonna dirty your December?"
Yeah.
Like, I used to live in Lagos for a while, so like it was very organic how that term came up, and we'd just be like, this December I'm going to dirty, and we all knew what we were talking about, and so it's very funny that it's actually a term now, but it's just a term for having such a good time in the December period, because I don't know about other cultures, but in Nigerian culture, like December is such a celebratory period for us. Not just because it has the Christmas holidays, because we're a multi-religion country, but it's just the end of year. Yoruba say Odun, so there's a lot of like gratitude for going through the whole year, and then people will go back to their villages or where their parents were from, to like grandparents and extended family. But then we also have like a lot of people coming from out of the country, so people use that opportunity to have a lot of weddings. There are lots of concerts happening. So when the Detty December things started coming up, it was just this idea that I was going to do all these things. Like I was going to get the chance to see people that were around. I was going to get a chance to have end of year parties. I was going to get a chance to go to concerts. I was going to get the chance to go to weddings. So that's what it means to like have a Detty December. Go to the beach, all of that.
So Detty December is basically, so also let me just highlight, it's Detty as in D-E-T-T-Y, not D-I-R-C. So Detty. And it's basically everyone coming back home, but no, you're networking, you're partying a lot, you're going out for concerts, events. So you were about to tell us about your last Detty December experience.
I said, because I didn't really think, because I consider myself a Lagosian, and I am.
Okay.
I wasn't really going at it from a touristy point of view, because this is like stuff I've been doing for years before I moved out of Nigeria. So I knew how I wanted my Detty December to go, because I think that people think Detty December is like a one track, monotonous way of doing it. You just go to all these concerts, but I have interest in the arts, in dancing, so I knew I wanted to be going dancing. I do Afro-Latin dancing, and then I wanted to be going to like art shows, and I wanted to be going to wine house, and I wanted to be going to parties as well, but like more intimate parties, and so I wanted to do all this, but I wasn't plugged in. So I just knew I needed to get there, but I still had like friends that lived in the country, so I was like, there's one of my friends, I just told him, I'm coming. You're my rocks guide. You're my rock sensei. Just anywhere you tell me, I will go and stuff. So I started getting ready to come, but I was living in the UK at the time, and it was so costly.
How costly?
So typically, like what
did you expect? And what was it?
Like, so before, like let's say 2020s, you could at least get like a £600
ticket,
return tickets between Lagos and London. I was finding that you will not get anything less. And to be fair, in maybe a little bit of a caveat is that I was booking quite late. I think I booked my tickets in September for a December trip, and that was not wise, people. That was not wise. But I was saying that the cheapest economy ticket I could get was like 1.5. And I said, I don't understand.
wow.
It's an economy ticket, £1,500.
Yeah.
Like, that seemed ludicrous to me. Again, there are other considerations when you're buying tickets, right? So I started building like loyalty with like a national carrier. So I wanted to go with them. I wanted a direct flight. I wanted something straightforward. So while there were options, it was still really expensive. Like even for the very inconvenient options, I was seeing close to £1,000.
Yeah.
So I was like, what is actually going on? So that was one cost I had to consider. Another cost that I didn't see coming was that people would be like, oh, you're coming. Oh, please can I send some stuff to your house? Okay, let me get this.
Yeah.
And like it's so much. And to be fair, like you're happy to do it when you have the space, but something that is different from like Nigerian flights outbound to the West is that you don't by default get 2 bags.
Good point.
You get 1 bag. So people sending you stuff, your ticket entitles you to 1 piece of hand luggage. Typically, that is 23 kg. So imagine so I was thinking what's the value for money to pay this much that is almost a what's it called? It's basically a business class amount for an economy ticket and I only get 1 bag. So I was looking for value for money at this point because I wanted to be able to like justify the cost. And it had me do a lot of maybe changing class, a lot of like maybe widening my time in Nigeria. So I ended up going really early in December, coming back mid-January.
Okay, so
it reduced my cost a bit, but it was still a pretty expensive ticket. But at least it was value for money, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was actually my follow-up question. Would you say it was value for money?
Because I changed the class of my ticket, so it made it worth it. So I went like on an upper class
that then gave you
more luggage space and so then also like better experience. Yeah. So that was a pro tip there. And then so with people asking me for stuff, obviously you have family back home, and me, I had a niece I love with all of my heart, and so once her mother says her name, the move button is activated. So I was literally just ready to like carry stuff for hand. Even with my 2 suitcases, I still needed to ask a friend to put some diapers and some wet wipes in like their hand luggage and stuff for me because it was just like so much stuff to take back. So that was the cost. And then the final cost I'll touch on is the cost on getting there. Because I was thinking I was coming with like a heavy currency. My pounds are going to go far, but like there's a lot of inflation happening. So the things that I thought cost a certain things while I lived in Nigeria no longer cost those things. So it was a lot of expenditure, more expenditure on my end as well. So those are some of the costs.
Okay. That's pretty good. Yeah. So I can tell a bit of a memorable Detty December story. So on the one of the costs, you said then it was high, it was £1,500. What year was that? 2023?
Yeah, 2023.
Yeah, today is direct flight is like for December this year is like 2,500, 2,600. So
economy.
Yeah, only £1,000 more. But but in terms of my own experience, one I had was specifically around December was I'd moved from the UK to Nigeria. I was living in Nigeria, working in Nigeria at the time. So it was Detty December, and my birthday is around that period. So it was Detty December, everyone was coming, and I thought, okay, I want to do something memorable, and that was 2019. Mm-hmm. So that was the year Ghana had the year of the return. Black Panther had come out. Everything was just happening. Afrochella,
that was a good December.
Afro Nation was coming for the first time. Afro Nation had started earlier in the year in Portugal, and then they would come to do this Afro Nation, Afro-based concert in Ghana. So everything was Africa. Ghana was the place to be. Now, everyone had thought, all my friends said, okay, we'll just fly from Ghana, take a really expensive flight, 1 hour from Lagos to Ghana. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go by road. So I'm going to travel from Lagos, across Cotonou, Benin Republic, across Lomé, Togo, and then Ghana. And so that was what I did. And I convinced a friend, my sister, to join me. And it was incredible. It was not the most comfortable initially for the ride, but it was fun. Yeah. And it was also because I'd gone by road compared to flying, it was dead cheap. Mm-hmm. So I think if I'd flown then, I would have paid like 160,000 naira for a ticket. When I went by road, it was like 28k for a return bus. So that was so my cost then was just mainly my Airbnb, but that was like how I see
such a fraction of the price.
So this is what happened. Like this is just I'll condense the story. So basically, we went to Yaba, took a public bus or bus company that was doing this inter-country travel. And then because of the waste of time, we took us a while to get out of Nigeria because of lots of checkpoints. But as soon as you get out to Nigeria to the Cotonou Road, like once you pass the Nigeria-Semi border, and it's just open road.
It's open road.
And
I've done that Lagos Cotonou road trip. It's fantastic.
And so I did Cotonou, and then you go through, and then at some point after you pass Cotonou, I think before you get to Lomé, if you're going onwards to Togo, so you get to the border at Cotonou, and then so I got to Cotonou, we stopped, some people got up there, and then they stopped, they process all, check all your passports, all the things they need to do, and then there's all this people changing money, street food. All this suya and street meat. So that's
the bread. Yes, the bread. Yes, it's great bread. Once you start getting to Francophone.
Yeah, and then you hear more people speaking French, like there's more diversity, more traders. So that was good. Then you get on the bus again, you go through you go into the Lomé, you're going to Togo. Now this was the thing I really like. As you're going, there's one point that's kind of hilly. You can see the Atlantic Ocean. And you can feel like water sprays. So I think for me, it was, and the road was from that Cotonou to Lomé, all the way to Ghana. The road was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, sweet road, and then the view. So long story short, everything took us about 14 hours to get to Ghana's border. So you get to Lomé, and then Lomé, they're very strict. You have to come down, they check all the buses, and then we drove again into Ghana. When you then get to the border of Ghana and Togo, there's another 4 hours to get to Accra. So we got to Accra like 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, and then finally got to our Airbnb. But after that, it was a fantastic experience. We went to get our tickets for the event. We got food before the event started, and then the performance. Everybody came in from the Caribbeans, African Americans. Everything was perfect. And then after that first night when Burna Boy performed, that was the same album. African Giant came out. So when he performed, everyone was like FOMO. So everybody in Lagos now got tickets and came for the next day. And how you knew people from Lagos had come was suddenly there was traffic. Because everyone who arrives at the airport, we don't share Ubers. Everybody books their own Uber. You can see like traffic coming in. But yeah, it was fantastic. Had that festival. There was also the Afrochella Festival. But I had booked with someone to do a tour, and they kind of didn't show up or not available. So my Uber driver, who was a local, I was like, can you take us to these places? And I was like, yeah, just pay me an extra pay for fuel. So long story short, that's how Uber driver took us everywhere. Steak Castle, Kwame Nkrumah.
Oh,
so it was perfect.
Tour guide and an Uber driver.
Tour guide was translator, and it was fantastic. Yeah. And then while we're there, the food, I got to try Ghana jollof.
Oh,
try wache, but Ghana jollof, famous Ghana jollof.
Lots of egg.
Yes, lots of egg. But it was just incredible. So I think for me, on two things, and then came back. We got the road trip. We're then trying to get to Nigeria before New Year. So we arrived 15 minutes. We arrived back to Nigeria 30 minutes before you get into the New Year. But I think for me, the whole experience was very memorable. That was where I thought, I didn't think about saving the cost. I just wanted to explore and went by road. But by going by road, I saved on the cost and now had an incredible experience.
I think that's a pro tip right there, because I feel like something that I wanted to ask you, and you've cleverly brought out in this story, is that how do you minimize travel within Africa, the cost of it? Because because you reduced it from 160 to 28, and then you got more.
Yeah.
Because you got it combined, you got the road trip, you got to see multiple countries, and you also got like these experiences where you got a tour operator out of an Uber driver, you got to experience the African Giant moment in the crowd and all of that. So what has been like the ways like you just found from your travels?
So I think the first one would be say for traveling anywhere internationally is to say book outside the peak demand, like what you said of okay, you want to go second week of December instead of book first week of November, or book later. Another one around that booking for flights to the continent would be around travel on Christmas Day, on Boxing Day, on holidays. And I think that's one way because the demand is so low, you can get a good deal. But traveling within Africa, the standard ones book early. I think another thing is take the off-beaten path. So most people would go by flight because it's shorter, it's quicker. Take the slower path and try and make an adventure all the way. As opposed to if you just take the direct path, because everyone's trying to take that, it's expensive, it's oversubscribed. That is the one I'll say. And then leverage wherever you're from. If you're from West Africa and you have an ECOWAS passport, you can visit all the West African countries.
Yeah.
If you go to East Africa and get an East Africa tourist visa, you can go to all the countries in East Africa. So I think for me is leverage wherever you are, take the off-beaten path, And then by leveraging wherever you are, if you're going to East Africa, you can get more ROI. So now you can go to Detty December like most people do. You go to Detty December in Lagos, but then you can go to Ghana, and then you can even go to Dakar. You know, a direct flight. As opposed to, even though, let's say it's expensive to do multiple places, you get more ROI as opposed to if you're just going to Lagos.
And I think, honestly, that's a gem right there, because I feel like that off-beaten path mindset is like, if it's too costly to go to Lagos and you have an ECOWAS passport, for example, go to Accra, go to Cote d'Ivoire, go to Senegal, go to Syria,
go to Gambia,
and then you get the experience of being in those countries. Make it into a trip. Now maximize your experience of, even though you've taken this detour, don't let it just be a detour. Let it be an experience as well. Like,
and then just one last tip, one that I'm trying to explore more between now and the end of this year, is around finding new routes. Like new routes, new airlines that are starting a new route. So for example, in October this year, end of October, Air Peace is starting a new London Heathrow to Abuja, the capital of Nigeria. I know Air Sierra Leone is doing a new route as well, connecting to Freetown and then Lagos. So I think that is another pro tip I think could be something, because most times when they're starting a new route, there's new offers. So I think leveraging that, or it could even be an existing airline that's starting a new route, like Ethiopia. Like I think now they've increased to 7 flights to Lagos from Addis Ababa. So that is it. Even if you don't go on the peak, you can then go on that. So yeah, that's just something I think could really help. Now, one more question I'll just ask you. So I know we talked of cost. I know we kind of talked of traveling within Africa. These questions around traveling within Africa. So last time we had looking at our passports and where you like to have a stamp on your passport in our last episode, and I talked about going to Tanzania. Where would be your dream vacation? Where is the place you like to go to in Africa that you've not been to already? And why?
This is a very tough but lovely question to answer, because it makes my imagination fly. What's next in Africa for me, if I had my way, is the East Africa region.
Okay.
I went to Kenya a couple years ago, and I got to go to this spot where you're standing in 3 countries at the same time.
Yes.
Kenya, Tanzania, and I think, I can't remember the third one now. But it was a triangle. East Africa.
Uganda.
And it was fantastic. But Tanzania is definitely my next country, because I want to do the Serengeti. There's a glamping experience that I want to do. I really like being in the Maasai Safari, but I like East Africa because you get to have different experiences in one country. When I was in Kenya, I got to do Nairobi, the city, got to do Masai Mara, the safari, and I got to do Lamu, the heritage site. So I feel like with Tanzania as well, I want to be able to get that Serengeti, Zanzibar, Dar es Salaam experience as well, and see a new version of it, you know. And I think that, that's definitely next on my mind. But there's so many parts of Africa I want to see. I feel like not enough time, but I'm ready.
If I could go to anywhere now that I've not already been, I used to continue my tour around West Africa. But really it will be Senegal, Gambia, and if I have more time, Cote d'Ivoire. And because Senegal and Gambia, Senegal, the way it's built, it kind of encircles Gambia, and then Gambia has a part of the sea. Now, before, you would need to take, if you want to go between Senegal and Gambia and on your plane, you need to take what you call a tram. But now, Africa Development Bank, they just released last year or the year before, like a bridge connecting both. So I think for me, I like to go to Senegal, Dakar, and see the Renaissance statue with the giant man carrying his wife and the child. So I would like to see that, Senegal food, and also try the jollof rice. Like, I like this whole jollof tour. Jollof
the different West African countries.
And how it changes. And then I would like to also go to Gambia. Gambia, most people don't know, has a massive safari. Almost the only major safari in West Africa. So a lot of people, expats from London, come to Gambia. And Gambia is extremely cheap. Gambia is extremely. So I would like to go to Senegal and Gambia. I would like to potentially do it as a road trip, just so that I see more, do more. And that's kind of
like. You said Cote d'Ivoire, and let me not start how much I love Cote d'Ivoire. I went to Cote d'Ivoire during AFCON.
You did? Yes. I really wanted to go.
It was fantastic. I remember I was flying out sadly on the finals day. And as I was making a joke with the immigration woman. She was asking me, who am I supporting? Because she saw my Nigerian passport. Finals. But that trip, I love Ivorians. I love them so much. I loved Cote d'Ivoire. So I definitely think do that trip.
I also like how it's really developed as a city.
It is.
Now,
the best fish I've ever eaten in my life
Oh,
I
wow.
had it in what we call Mama Puts. I had it in a Boca style restaurant in Cote d'Ivoire.
Okay.
Oh,
So
tilapia.
you have just brought me to the next thing I think is a big trip. It's a big tip for going to Africa. I think something that's really amazing is almost like traveling with events. Like there's Detty December, there's Artex Lagos, there's Serengeti, there's AFCON. And speaking of AFCON, there's AFCON this year, happening starting this December in Morocco with the finals in January. So this is a good opportunity for those who want to experience African football, culture, Morocco, and
visiting the continent, because this is like what you said, traveling around events. It makes it fuller, having an anchor experience that you're going for, and then also like getting the opportunities to now have your own experiences, because I think that it's so fun to read what people are doing with travel and see the pictures, but you get to write your own story. Yeah. You get to be in your own experience when you go, and you just it's unmatched, that first-hand experience. So definitely, if you're looking out for like anchor experiences, festivals, events, concerts, we always talk about them on our newsletter. So this is my shameless plug for join our newsletter community on Substack, KodeeXp.
Yeah, join the newsletter, subscribe, like, keep calm and keep exploring Africa from the soil to the sky. Until next time.
We'll see you soon. Fantastic one.